Hey guys, so the Monterey Car Week RM Sotheby's auctions have wrapped up. There's been so many crazy results that I think I need to make a dedicated video to it. I already made a video last night about the Ferrari SP3 Daytona that sold for $17.5 million, which is already a crazy number. And today blew that out of the water somehow on another Ferrari that is unbelievable. So we're going to talk about that one, and we're going to go over a lot of the crazy sales I saw throughout the weekend that I think you'll find interesting. Before that, please subscribe to the channel for me if you're not already. Turn on notifications so you see new videos when they go live, and like the video for me. It really helps the channel grow and get in front of more people, so please continue supporting the channel. Thank you for all your support. Now let's get into this year's Monterey Car Week RM Sotheby's auction results. Okay, so let's start with Lamborghini. Everyone loves Lamborghini. Let's start with some big Lamborghini auction results that came in. First up, we had for $3.1 million, a 791-mile 2010 Lamborghini Murcielago SV. Now, Murcielagos SVs have been going crazy in recent years. This is kind of not that much of a surprise, but going for over $3 million is like a huge amount of money. Mercy SVs not that long ago were under $1 million, now they're over $3. So keeping pace with a lot of other cars recently, they're just like tripling what they used to be a couple of years ago. So great for the Mercy SV. It is an under 1,000-mile car, so it's kind of understandable, but it's a lot of money. Next up, $2.3 million, closer to $2.4 million actually, a 1978 Lamborghini Countach LP400 Series 1S. That's a new record for 1978 Lamborghini Countaches. These have been getting pretty expensive lately. I mean, they were already expensive even like a year ago. This car must be really low miles and in really great shape because more, used, I would say, quote unquote, Countaches sell for closer to like 800,000 to 900,000. This one just went way over 2 million. So everything's been going up in value lately for sure. Don't get me wrong. But another car that's gone up a lot. And at Monterey Car Week, I mean, you're in the right place to have really high auction results. I mean, you've got a ton of people with a ton of money on one of the wealthiest zip codes in the world, all in the same room bidding on cars. Excitement happens. People really want a certain car. If there's two people in the same room that really want the same car, this is the type of thing that happens. So they're fun results. I'm glad we get to see them. But the Ferrari stuff is just crazy, so stick around for that. We'll get to that after a couple more cars here. So next up, a 1991 Lamborghini Diablo, under 1,000 miles as well, breaks a new record for any 1991 or 1992 Diablo at $802,000. Now, I find this one so interesting because for some reason, the Countach are apparently $2.5 million cars. The Mercies are apparently, over $3 million cars. Aventadors are over $1 million at this point if you're looking at like an SVJ or something like that. And yet the record for a Lamborghini Diablo is under $1 million. I don't understand why that one that came out, 10 years before the Murcielago and 20 years before the Aventador is still falling so far behind. Somebody explain to me if you're really tapped into the, V12 Lamborghini market. I would assume they're easier to maintain and run than Countaches, still have more of that retro Lamborghini style than say a Murcielago does. So I don't know why they're so far behind the other cars. I think they look cool, so I don't know. Those are lagging behind for some reason. And then to finish up our Lamborghini sales records for this video, we've got a 40th anniversary Lamborghini Murcielago that sold for $1.1 million, breaking the $1 million mark for a 40th anniversary Mercies. Now, if you don't know, they made very few of these cars in a really cool blue color, but it's not a Mercy SV or anything like that, and it's still broke $1 million. So Lambo prices are starting to catch up to Ferrari prices. Not quite as crazy, but it's good to see Lamborghini getting some love here. I was confused why like Huracan Performantes weren't going up 6 months ago, and now they've gone up like 50 grand since I looked at them. So it's good to see Lamborghini getting some love because Ferrari's been stealing the show for a while. Let's move on to some of the other auctions this weekend. All right, so I've only got 2 cars left on my list that weren't Ferrari auctions that I thought we should talk about. So let's cover those and we'll get into Ferrari. First up, a McLaren F1 GTR sold for $31.5 million. McLaren F1s have been going crazy in value, especially GTRs and LMs if they ever come up for sale. But breaking $30 million, I believe this was the first time that happened, or if it's not, it's like the second time it happened. And it cleared it by a good, $1.5 million. And these all, keep in mind, all these numbers are pre-taxes and fees and everything. So if they paid $31.5 for that at the auction, it's probably like a $36 million car. So that's how expensive McLaren F1s are. You can see why Gordon Murray S1 LMs are so valuable. One auctioned for $20 million last year because to get that driving experience, you have to shell out about $30 million unless you go buy a Gordon Murray. So McLaren F1 GTR, $31.5 million. Absolutely crazy. Now, the car that led the weekend for the highest sale until the Ferrari we're going to talk about was a Shelby Cobra. A real one, not a replica or anything like that. $39 million. Beautiful cars, a lot of story, a lot of history behind them. Makes sense it would go for so much money. Keep that in mind when we get to the Ferrari that broke it. And one bonus car I'll throw on there, a Corvette Grand Sport went for $18.7 million. Okay, and we're on to the Ferraris like I promised. So first up, a Ferrari F40 sold for $7.6 million. So keep in mind tax and fees, that's like a $9.5 million car. F40s were $3.5 million this time last year. So prices have doubled literally on an already very expensive hypercar. We had a Mike Tyson owned Ferrari F50 sold for $11 million. And when you consider that F50s were also like, I'd say closer to $4 million actually about this time last year, this car's almost tripled in value in a year. And that one before taxes and fees, you're looking at like a $13.5 to $14 million car. I think you could definitely get an F50 for less than that. I feel like this had to be because it was a Monterey auction. I don't think Mike Tyson owning it made it that much more valuable, to be honest with you. So that's an interesting sale for sure. A Ferrari 288 GTO sold for $10 million. That is in the lineage of, like, you know, 288 GTO, and then it went F40, F50, Enzo, LaFerrari, and now F80. So it is a rare car. I'm sure if any collector doesn't already have it in their collection that wants to have all of them, they would have bought that car. I'm not surprised it went for a ton of money, but $10 million does seem like a lot. You have to imagine that car is more of an investment or going into a collection than it is to be driven. This one was interesting. A Ferrari 430 Scuderia went for over $1 million. These cars were like 280 grand like a year and a half ago, at least in the US. Now over $1 million. The car is like 4 times in value in just over a year. It's not that great driving of a car. It's a great car, don't get me wrong, but it's, you know, it's slow by modern day standards, and it's probably, you know, a little jerky. I'm sure it's a very engaging car to drive, but $1 million, there's so many other cars you could buy with $1 million. You'd be better off spreading the $1 million out across 3 or 4 cars than buying a $1 million 430 Scuderia. And the last Ferrari we're going to cover before we get to the one that broke the show was a LaFerrari, went for $7.9 million, which almost sounds reasonable when you've got an F40 going for $7.6 million. A LaFerrari is, you know, 30 years newer, way faster, pretty much double the horsepower. I'm not saying a LaFerrari is a better car, because I know there's, you know, an analog aspect to the F40 that the LaFerrari just doesn't have, but a LaFerrari is no slouch if you ask me. And considering it's the same price as an F40, I think it's a pretty good purchase. LaFerraris have been expensive for a while now, and just like everything else recently, they've gone up in price, but they went from like 5 million to like 7.5 million. They didn't go from like 3 million to 10 million. So a little less inflated, but they were already expensive to begin with, especially compared to the McLaren P1 and the Porsche 918 Spider, which, you know, it competed with directly at the time. And the car that stole the show, that broke Monterey Car Week auction, the videos from within the room are absolutely insane, like everyone's in shock. The Ferrari Luce, chassis number 0, a tailor-made example, whatever, as if it matters, sold for $40 million. $40 million. Trying not to crash out here. The Luce, when it came out earlier this year, everyone hated the thing so much that it literally like broke the internet for a few days. At 600,000, people were saying this is the most ridiculous, most overpriced car ever, and someone just paid $40 million for one. Now, if you're not aware how these RM Sotheby's auctions work, every now and then they do have a charity car up for auction. That's exactly what this Ferrari Luce was. It was provided as chassis number 0 for this charity purpose. The proceeds are going to the Ferrari Foundation. Whether the Ferrari Foundation is a good charity or not, I don't even know, to be honest with you. I do love Ferrari. I'm not trying to hate on them or anything, but Ferrari Foundation is getting a large donation because this Luce sold for $40 million. It's the same customer that purchased the Ferrari SP3 Daytona last year that went for $26 million, which is still $9 million more than the highest SP3 Daytona sale since then. So the charity cars always go for more, but an SP3 Daytona, which one just sold yesterday for $17.5 million, sold last year for $26 million. How is a Ferrari Luce selling for $40 million, even if it's for charity? Like, this almost seems like a joke because the car is such a bad launch. Somehow, some way, this Luce ended up selling for $40 million, and it's just ridiculous. It almost feels like it's like the craziest possible outcome is what happened. So a Ferrari Luce sold for $40 million to cap off the Monterey Car Week RM Sotheby's auctions. Car Week's starting to wind down here, but I'm going to be making a video of my favorite car from Car Week and just all the cars that came out in general for you to catch up on if you missed anything throughout the weekend. So please subscribe for me, like the video, hit notification bell so you see when my new videos come out, and I will catch you in the next Exotics Anonymous video. Have a good one.